folks. It's a beautiful day in Maine. A beautiful day for a new episode of Black Bear Voices presented by our friends over at Bangor Savings Bank. We got a good one today. Project Pat Ricard himself, Maine Football alumni in the house for us today. Pat, how's it going?
Good, man. In Massachusetts right now, just getting ready for the season, enjoying time with friends and family. Just hoping for the best, hoping the season is going to happen. Right now, training camp is set for the 28th, so next week. So just been getting ready for it, just enjoying a little more time I have with everybody here.
What does that process look like this year as far as getting ready?
Yeah, very different.
Sure.
So usually we have OTAs, which is from mid-April to mid-June. And it's about 2 months of being in the facility, getting workouts in, meetings. Then we'll have OTAs, which is 10 helmeted practices. And that runs for 3 weeks. And then after that, we have a mini camp, which is full pads for a couple days. And even before that, the rookies will have their mini camp together as rookies. But we haven't had any of that. Instead, what we did is the Ravens sent us some equipment, like some cones, some footballs, like a little body shield, our iPads, a tripod. So what we're doing is we're able to have our OTAs on Zoom. It was for 2 months, 4 days a week from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it was 4 hours a day. What we did was we lifted for an hour and we had our own groups. So we had as soon as I heard about the pandemic happening, I went and bought a bunch of gym equipment and built a gym in my basement because I needed to keep working out and I wasn't going to let this stop my progression and my progress because obviously, I have goals and I want to achieve them. So no matter what, I made sure I had a gym.
Right.
So I was in those groups with some guys who had gym equipment. A lot of guys on my team, some of them didn't even have anything. So the Ravens sent us a lot of bands and step ups so we could do some type of workouts in our houses. So it was about an hour of a lift, and then I had to get in my car, drive to a field every day, and get my tripod out, bring my tripod with me, and join the Zoom call again and have a 45 to an hour run, and then drive back to my house and then get on Zoom again and have 2 hours of meetings. And we would start sometimes with team meetings, offense, defensive meetings, and then we go straight to position groups. And then that's pretty much how it was for 2 months. And it's a lot different because, you're not at the facility, you're not using the facility, you're not with your coaches and teammates and all that stuff. But, it was what it is, so we made the best of it and definitely still, got a lot of work done and because, going over the playbook and everything, still being with the guys, but obviously just virtually. But, and then we have about 5 weeks now just to get ready for training camp, best weekend. So it's going to be interesting when we get back, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you and the rest of the world. So talking about goals, I mean, you had a pretty dynamite 2019, I guess you could say, on the field and off the field. So you got married. Congratulations. That looked like a great time, honeymoon and everything. Mm-hmm. As a guy that kind of had this huge rise this year, huge rise in your personal stock and hit a lot of goals, I'm sure, made the Pro Bowl, all this fun stuff. What do you do as an individual to stay hungry and to keep pushing it? Because you made the Pro Bowl, you got the big contract, you've proven yourself as an NFL player. What are you looking at now going into, I mean, I know it's your third or fourth year in the league, but really your second year on the stage?
Yeah. I always just try to be true to myself, just understand where I came from. I came from a small high school, wasn't recruited very heavily at all. Maine was really the only school that gave me a chance, gave me a scholarship. And I just kind of just remember who I am and just who I came from because that's who the player, that's the player I became. So I can't just all of a sudden just think I'm all this and all that because that's not the makeup of who I am. I just try to just keep working that way and keep trying to improve myself every year. And now for me, I made the Pro Bowl, right? So now it's I want to go back. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be, I made it, that's cool. I want to get back there. So that means I have to prove myself again to show everyone I am another Pro Bowl, have another Pro Bowl year. So that's just, fuel for that. And then also I want to prove myself in my contract. And my contract extension I got was only a 2-year extension. So that means after this year, it's my contract year again. Right. So it's not like I signed for a 5-year deal to where I can just sit around for a couple of years and then oh, I got to start playing good again because I got to get a new deal soon. So that's, that's also the reason why I only did a 2-year deal, because I wanted, I wanted to just make sure that I'm still working hard and still have that same mentality. And, I also went undrafted too. So that's a big, chip on my shoulder for, the rest of my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the player I am. And, and Maine shaped me that way too. Just going there and having to prove yourself, and work hard and try to make it to the NFL. And, that's what I try to do. Sorry,
Right.
my cat is running around over here.
No worries. Can we get him on the camera?
Yeah, that's one of them. This is my little girl, Penelope.
How many we got?
I have 3 now.
3 cats?
Yeah.
Are they all yours, or are they
Yeah,
joint
we got
co-parenting?
one. We got one because our rookie year, my wife was with me and she was lonely. She didn't know anybody or anything, and we didn't have pets. I'm like, fine, we can go get one, and we did. And then I ended up really loving him because I hated cats before that. And then a year goes by, we feel bad, we feel like he's lonely, so then we go look at another one, and they ended up getting 2 more because they were siblings. I wanted one, she wanted one, so I'm like, we'll just get them. We love them all; they're all great.
You better be careful, man. I hear it works with kids like that too, so just watch out for that. So looping back to football, and you're this two-way player, pretty rare breed, and you've talked about that extensively. People can look that up all they want. I don't want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about going forward, because I read an article in the Bangor Daily where you talked about you and Jamil Demby and how you guys have to really make yourself kind of these Swiss Army knives to prove yourself as versatility. Your best ability is availability.
Yep.
And I saw Jamil, learned all 5 offensive line positions, and he was ready for anything. You obviously went the fullback and line route and special teams and everything. Is your focus now to continue to round yourself out as an all-around player? Or I was looking at the stats and noticed you slided more to the offensive role as the season went on. So is your mindset focusing on what you do as good as anyone does, or are you still trying to be that all-around guy?
I think, I still want to be an all-around guy just because it adds value to myself. And that's part of my career I never want to give up. Even Harbaugh, he texted me and just asked him, like, what is your personal goals for this year and what can you get out of me and everybody? And I just told him, like, I want to be a Pro Bowl player again. I want to do whatever I can do to help a team. And I never want to get rid of me playing on offense and defense. Even if defense, I don't play that much, I still want to be a part of the defense. I still want to get, earn some playing time there. And I understand that, if you guys want to use me mostly on offense, that's fine with me. And I'll increase my role that way with either learning more routes, more protection, more run plays, just keep learning more and more. And that's what I've been doing since I got there. Just every offseason and every year, I just try to learn more and more, and prove to them that they can use me for more situations and certain things like that. And being undrafted, you have to do those things because if you're a high draft pick, they're going to keep you. They're most likely you're going to be on the team. You might not play right away, but you're going to be on the team. So undrafted guy, you're trying to make the team any way you can. It doesn't matter what it is. So for me, it was like, hey, they want to try on offense. I'm like, all right, cool, let me do it. Like, and just try to make the best of it and take the most of my opportunities. And now it's just to keep playing in the NFL. I just feel like it adds value to play both ways. Gives my name for myself, and then also, it gets me on the field, it gets me active, it gets me playing. Because sometimes when I'm just a fullback, then they might not need a fullback as much. Or if I'm playing defense, someone gets hurt. Oh, Pat, we can use a little bit on defense. So like, I just don't want to get rid of that still. And but I mean, if they want to use me more on offense, that's fine. I still want to play, some defense here and there.
Right, totally. It seems like you've landed in a pretty good kind of culture in Baltimore where they have a lot of undrafted guys coming through and kind of they give guys their chance, and the guys that stick, and that's how they operate. But outside of that, outside of the football stuff, because I know you're very close with both your coordinators and your head coach, and you seem to have good relationships, but just living in Baltimore, you seem to be really like you've fallen in love with the area and Maryland and all that. Had you been there before signing with the Ravens, and what have you experienced so far?
No, I've only been through Baltimore, just driving through on like vacations and stuff like that. But I go to Baltimore mostly here and there for dinners and for the actual games. And we stay in Owings Mills, which is like 25 minutes west of Baltimore, and that's where the facility is, and that's where I live. And that area is beautiful. It's like up and coming. There's a lot of shopping areas and restaurants, and it's almost like where I'm from. I live right side of Worcester, Mass, and it's like just a small little town. And Owings Mills is very similar. It's right side of Baltimore, and it's almost kind of the same feeling like Orono was, right outside of Bangor, woodsy area and a little community. But going to Baltimore itself is just I try to stay around the Inner Harbor. It's beautiful down there. There's a lot of nice restaurants, and I think the biggest thing about the city that I like is just the fans love the Ravens. It's like a light of hope for them. They look up to them because there's only a couple sports teams in Baltimore. It's us and the Orioles, I'm pretty sure, because everything else is in DC.
Mm-hmm.
So we're obviously looked up to a lot, and it's a city of grit, and I think the people reflect that, and then the team does too. I mean, they've always had a great defense in Baltimore, and I think it's because that's the way the culture is in that city. Is just people are just they're like that down there. But other than that, I mean, I do enjoy it down there. I love the organization itself. They're just a very family first team. They give you opportunities. Like, they didn't have to give me any opportunities as an undrafted guy, but they gave me as many opportunities as they did with their draft picks. I think that's why they've had so many undrafted guys make the teams.
Right. And I mean, what a great scenario to go to a football town like Baltimore and have them kind of welcome you with open arms and embrace you and your style of play. But I see it going the other way. You're doing these food reviews of restaurants downtown, and you're bringing out your teammates, and you're engaging on social media. What do you do to kind of reciprocate that energy from them in 2020? I mean, it's a little different because you can interact with them directly. You don't need to go through people like me or the newspaper. So you're very active. You're very, approachable on social media. So what's your thought process with that and being, I guess, brandable is the word?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, I just feel like, you are a guy that has gone out of your way to kind of be in the community, be very visible in the community. And I guess my point I'm driving at here is what are ways that, I guess I should have thought a little better, it's very abstract, but my point being, I mean, you have a chance to kind of create your own kind of brand as Pat Ricard, this grinder, and you fit into Baltimore. So
so pretty much my name, Project Pat, right? You probably do know how I got that name?
Because you're a project.
Right, but that's not right. So it was one of my teammates in my first OTA just randomly called me Project Pat, and it was the rapper Project Pat. And then I almost took it like my project because I was playing both sides. I didn't really understand it. And I kind of took the name, and now that's what fans know me as Project Pat. And then the food review thing was my agent just wanted me to get more involved in the community and my teammates, and just kind of just show ourselves more on social media. And I did that for a little bit. I didn't do it last year just because I wanted to focus on the year. But I might bring it back. I mean, it's gonna be hard now with the whole pandemic and everything. But I got a Traeger grill, so I've been posting my, what I've been making on there the last couple of weeks. But I've always tried to be interactive and approachable on social media, just because I know how much it means to people. Whenever I interact with some athletes or celebrities or whatnot on there, it always made my day. I could always just brag to people, even as much as someone messaging me, I just like it. They freak out.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to do. And a lot of guys don't do it. I don't know why. Maybe they don't want to deal with it. It can be a loss sometimes, but I enjoy it. I know people appreciate it. So I always try to be approachable that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think it might also have a little bit to do with your journey, and you're just kind of, you came from the bottom and you know what it's like to grind. And there's probably a bunch of Pat Ricards out there tweeting at you, and to give them a tweet is a good one. Right. Speaking of the future of Pat Ricards, just talking about Maine football, that they're going through a tough time, obviously, with all the news and stuff. But they will play again. And to that redshirt freshman, that's trying to get to 300 pounds, what do you have to say about Maine football, and what advice would you give to the next Pat Ricard?
First off, I just think it's terrible what's going on with their season. You work so hard, and in those years you'll never get back. So hopefully, they can play this spring. But other than that, if I was talking to myself, to any of those guys up there that are trying to make it, you just have to believe in yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to. Biggest things I also learned was just sacrificing. I realized probably after my first year that partying and all that was not that important. I just realized that what was important was focusing on your goals and achieving it no matter what. You know, if you're trying to gain weight, then that means you have to be eating as healthy and as much as you possibly can. Learn as much about nutrition as you can, you know, understand how your body works and how to eat, when to eat, what to eat to maximize your results. Because if you're not eating right, you're not going to really be gaining weight. You're not going to be gaining size. Understand technique and form when you're working out and understand what you're actually doing instead of just going in there and just doing things because you don't understand what it is you're trying to do. I learned that from a young age from my brother, who ended up being an All-American at Stony Brook. He taught me that early on, that your technique is very important on the field and in the weight room. I think a big thing, even now for me, is recovery and taking care of your body, because if you're banged up all the time or if you're not sleeping well, like, you know, for me, I try to get 7-8 hours of sleep every night. If you're getting like 4 to 5 a day, you're going to be starting to get injured. You're not going to be gaining weight. You're going to be getting fat, not muscle. Just things like that is recovery, nutrition, understanding, you know, the techniques on and on the field. And then just the ultimate sacrifices, honestly, is just, you know, not wanting to get blackout drunk 3 days a week, not sleeping, eating OHOP all the time. And, you know, things like that is what you have to do. You know, I stayed up there almost every single summer. I didn't want to come home and be distracted. And, you know, that's what I liked about being up there is there's not many distractions. You just go there, focus on what you have to do, and just do it. And I think that's why there's a decent amount of guys from that school that have made it because of that reason. And also, too, is just, you know, everything is, you have to earn everything up there. You have to make the most of everything. And I think it's getting better since I've been there. But when you're in the NFL, there's guys who have had everything given to them or didn't have to work that hard. And being up there, you really have to be resourceful and, you know, fight, you know, earn the things that you want. And when you get to the NFL, it translates. And I think that's why guys have made it.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's a culture thing, like we've been talking about all day.
Yes.
I mean, you stayed up here. I didn't know you stayed up here during the summers and all that. I mean, did you get into any other main activities? Do any cliche main things while you're up here? Anything stick out for you?
Yeah, I've went to Katy National Park a few times, went swimming there. I went there as a kid, so I already knew what it was like. It's a beautiful place. Other than that, I mean, not really. I didn't really do too much. I'm not very an adventurous guy anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like to stay inside and like I said, I don't party that much. So I'm always inside playing video games and just like relaxing for the most part. I'm just playing football and yeah, I mean, probably Bar Harbor is the biggest thing I probably did when I was there.
Yeah. Well, hey, we'll get you up here. We'll go to Baxter State Park up in northern Maine. We'll go do a food review of the Pats down in downtown Orono. We'll make a full day out of it.
Sounds cool.
But until then, man, I'm out of questions. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day for us. You know, best of luck going forward. Hope you guys get started on time. But again, man, thanks for joining us, and take it easy.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
You got it, man.